Hi, this is Rob. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for joining me with IndicatorSmart.com. We have a lot of new students with our new ESSP trading system. This system will work in virtually any market, but the Emini S&Ps, of course, are the most popular market. And so for today, because we have a lot of new students, I am using these as training videos for our students so they can learn to see the patterns more abundantly on their chart. Performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. There's a risk of loss trading futures. And trade prudently, guys, because it's just too easy to get chewed up into markets. And so you have to use a strategy that works and that it works the way that markets are functioning. So without further delay, let's go ahead and take a look at today's chart in the ES. On the previous videos that I had done for this, I hadn't really covered what was happening with the opening range. I have a in the course there's a 1 minute chart that you get in your workspace, and what I do is I take a look at the way the market is opening. And so one of the techniques that we use is simply to look at how the market responds around the open. And so this morning we come up off of the open. This white line right here is the opening price. We come up, we come down below it, we come back up, we come down below it, we come back up, we come back down below it. Now when I see that in the first 30 minutes of trading, it tells me that there is no perceived change in the valuation of the market. Now, there was a report at 7 a.m. My time today, and that created a little bit of volatility, bringing the market up to test into the region of the previous day's high and close, because the previous day had closed near the high, and just hovered along that line, again telling me that the market didn't really have a lot of interest in doing anything. So based on this is all happening in the first hour of trading from here into here. And so based on these factors, I'm not particularly excited about getting caught in what I humorously refer to as the trade of the century. By the way, there's an article on Market Traders Journal on this very topic. You could go to Market Traders Journal and search on trade of the century or the keyword footprint, and look at the video there on how important it is to get caught in larger trades. So with that kind of context in mind as to the response of the market to the report and to the open, without there really being any substantial change in valuation, let's go over and look at the kind of day we had in the ES. I actually did not trade today, and so I did not trade because of the kinds of action that I was seeing there and after what happened yesterday. So we'll go through and we'll see the setups though, and that way our new students can learn them, and people who aren't familiar can learn to identify these patterns on their charts. The first setup of the day is here because this oscillator was going lower. This oscillator adjusts itself to the cycling, and so I'm going to use the Alt F3 key and just mark that. Oops, I'm sorry, it's Alt F2 key, and mark that as a buy. This particular region of the chart right through here is actually showing us a pattern that you can learn in the Smart Patterns course as a bullish pattern. And so when I see this type of a pattern with the divergent signal here that we teach in the ESSP course, that gives me two reasons why I want to be buying on this bar right here when Bloodhound turns green. The market went higher, and of course, depending on how you trailed up into that and managed that trade, that was probably part of the biggest range expansion of the day. And that, of course, was the one coming right off of the report. So you knew there was a report right there. You knew you had a setup going into the report. and that is the best trade of the day. Now we drift lower down into this region of the chart, and so we're looking for a buy setup, and that again occurs over in here. And then you just manage that. Now today is Friday. This trading day is a Friday, and markets can get kind of quiet after about the first 2 hours. And so the market hovered along around that region of the previous day's high and close and couldn't manage to get any higher, and so it looked to turn around, but we didn't get a signal going short just because of the way it all came together in a congested range. You don't want to get trading into situations like this. You need to be asking yourself, based on what we talked about on the 1-minute chart and based on the reaction to the report and everything else, you're asking yourself, hey, I've got this market that's just moving sideways on a Friday into the lunch hour. And then the market triggers actually another short setup over into here. And so where Bloodhound turns red right here, that is actually a short setup, and that would have been a losing trade. And then we get this same kind of pattern coming up here, and we go lower here. And so we get a nice buy setup over in here. And the market trades higher from there. This pattern here, interestingly, where we turn red down in here is actually, at the time that that's turning red, it's also telling you it's another buy signal. And if you had been on top of that, you would not have bought again there. You would have stayed long in that trade. And then we actually come down into here. This one's lower, tells us the market's trending lower. And then we don't get another signal until over into here. We get a long signal right over in here. Now, and then that market drifts higher for the rest of the day. Pretty quiet session. And so a lot of pitfalls for getting bored and just wanting to pull the trigger on something. Actually, there's another buy I see right over in here. If I missed these guys, I did it again. If I miss one, go ahead and let me know. But I think this way, and so I catch most of them. I did notice on yesterday's video I had missed one, and I noticed it later in the day. You'll notice that when you count these up, if you just stick with the basic ESSP rules and don't violate them, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trade setups for the day in the ES, and one of them's a loser. So that's 13%. That is a 87% win rate for trading on a simple system that's extremely easy to learn and understand. Anyways, that's what I have for you. It's the weekend. I wish you a wonderful weekend. As always, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. There's a risk of loss trading futures. And if learning more about this system is of interest to you, come over to indicatorsmart.com, and it's the ESSP system on the main page of the site. And as always, if you have questions, send me a note, and I'll help you if I can. Thanks again, and have a great weekend.